What is up YouTube? My name is Sam and I work under the artist name of Kayo. Today I'm going to be breaking down the third and final single from my upcoming EP, Forest Journey. This might be the last track off the EP that I break down, but I'm not too sure about that. This is the final single from the EP. It's also the last track in the EP, really kind of finalizing the story the EP tells. It's a really warm, comforting track. I think it's one of the best tracks I've ever produced. I'll play a quick preview of this track now, and then we'll jump into the project file and we'll break down what's going on. This is the whole project file. You can see there's quite a few different layers going on. So let's start with the piano. Got here a G major 9 chord, and then we're going into that A major, up into that B minor, and then back down into that G, A, B. Other than normal chord notes, we've got this sort of back and forth playful melody on top of the piano. Processing on this piano, we've got a Valhalla Supermassive on the default preset, a couple of little tweaks to make it sound how I wanted it, and then turned it down to around 30%. I've then got a EQ2, just focusing in on those middle frequencies. I wanted this to be just really warm, lush frequencies that you're getting from this piano. Nothing too harsh, nothing too low, straight down the middle. The other element of this track that's really core is this drone sound. And you can see there, I've taken a couple of notes from those chords. We're just switching that F sharp and that E note. Didn't want the drone to be moving around too much or be really complex. It's really simple. It's just sitting in the background and building those layers. To process the drone, we've got here an EQ, focusing in on a little bit more of a wider dynamic range than the piano, and then a flanger to add loads of movement to that sound. So after the first 4 bars there, I introduce the main melody of the track. It comes in really calm, really sort of ethereal, just the drone, just the chords, and then we're introducing some melody. Super simple, just adds a load of that higher frequency, adds to the emotion, and we're starting to sort of build. What I then added is a secondary melody, and this is another piano sound on its own. It's just playing this. I don't know if you'll be able to hear that if you haven't got headphones on. And you can see here, dipped out any frequencies we didn't want, rolled off all those lows, just letting in those higher frequencies. We've got a bit more reverb on there, and then I've EQ'd it again just to really cut it down after that EQ's on, because the EQ was just slightly too harsh. Let's have a talk about guitar. The guitar is the driving point of this track. So you see I build up here with the piano, the drone, start introducing some melodies, and then here introduce some guitar, and then a bit later on I actually introduce a second guitar layer. So let's take a listen to how that guitar sounds when it comes in. It's kind of just peppered into that first break. With the guitar, I wanted to sort of slowly interest it and this song to be building the whole way through the track. And you can see here, it's just playing those two melodies. That's all that's really going on. We've got here an EQ rolling off the highs, rolling off the lows where I didn't want them, and then a Valhalla Supermassive. Turn the density up, turn the feedback up, and then I've left that reverb on full because it really kind of washes out any harshness in that guitar sound. Once I had that, I added in some bass, and this is simply following the root notes, that G, that A, and that B. Really simple. And then it was time to think about adding some drums. These are the drums that I ended up with. We'll take a listen and then we'll break them down. Super simple, but loads of movement. And all we've got there is just this kick sound from one of the Hushchild packs. And then we've got a rim and a snap. One hi-hat, second hi-hat, and then a shaker. And that works really nice within the context of the song. We've got here a crash cymbal reverse effect to work as sort of a riser into this drop. So let's take a listen to how this sounds so far, and you can hear how all that sounds when it comes in together. It's really warm, it's got this really comforting sort of cozy vibe, and that's really what I was going for with this track. So let's have a look at this second guitar layer, because that is where the track really becomes a lot more interesting. I brought this in to sort of introduce a bridge, a sort of a breakdown from a hook of the track. We then have this bridge breaking down the track again. So we drop out the bass, we drop out one of the melodies, we introduce a second guitar, and then we drop out that main melody, and it's just guitar and piano that's playing. This is how our second bridge guitar sounds on its own. And then you see on the second pass over, it does a couple more interesting things. So instead of at the start, it goes from that C sharp up to an F sharp. And then at the end, we've got loads more going on here. And that works really nice. Those gaps in that melody is where the original guitar fills some of those pockets. Let's take a listen. And the song totally breaks down here, and you'll be able to hear the two guitars playing together. It adds a load more dimension. That guitar there is really driving the rest of this track. That second guitar playing throughout the entirety of this final hook, and then as the song breaks down, just go into that piano and drone just to finish the track off. So it ends with a slightly different intonation of the piano, but it ends like this. As sort of the big crescendo of the EP. Atmosphere, we've got the mysterious forest ambience that I've used in a few of the other tracks to sort of tell the story of our character being lost in the forest. And then as we come to the end of the track, that fades out and we fade in this normal, natural, organic birdsong sound to let the listener know that we're, you know, out of this mystery and the story is kind of coming to its resolution, which I think is a really nice little touch. You can do kind of interesting things with ambiences like that. So yeah, I think that's it for this track. Like I said, this is the final track in my EP Forest Journey. This track is called Home. I hope you really enjoyed this breakdown. Let me know if you want me to break down any of the other tracks in my EP. If not, I'm gonna start working on something new really soon. But yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna let this one play you out. Drop a subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I drop breakdowns like this every week on this channel. Peace.